Okay, number 51. In how many ways can 4 boys be seated in 4 chairs? A. 32, B. 24, C. 16, or D. 8? How many ways can 4 boys be seated in 4 chairs? The answer is yes, letter B, 24. So we can express this in terms of factorials. 4 factorial means we multiply 4 to the next consecutive lower numbers. 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That's 24. Why is it like this? Because there are 4 chairs, and if there are 4 boys, for the first chair, it can be occupied by 4 boys. What if one of the boys already seated? Isa ka boy, nilingkod na o nakaupo na. So may tatlong chair na lang. So tatlong chair, may tatlong boys na lang ang pwede makaupo, makalingkod. So what if nilingkod na? So we only have 2 chairs left. And then there are only 2 boys left lang din. So 2 boys, and then what if mulingkod na ang isa ka lalaki sa dalawa? So what is left? Isang chair na lang at saka isang boy na lang ang natira. So pwede natin i-multiply na lang yan lahat. 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. It's a fundamental principle of counting. Number 52. If one angle in a parallelogram measures 120 degrees, what's the measure of the angle opposite to it? A. 120 degrees, B. 60 degrees, C. 180 degrees, or D. 360 degrees. So what's the measure of the angle opposite to the 120 degrees angle? The answer is 120 degrees. In a parallelogram, just like this, you can see here's the diagram, the opposite angles are equal. So if this is angle A, and this is angle C, and this is angle B, and this is angle D, angle A is just equal to angle C, just like the condition here in our problem. So the problem states that one angle measures 120 and its opposite angle, opposite meaning kaharap na angle. If this angle is 120, letter C is also 120. If B, let's say B is 60, then yung katapat niya is also 60. Okay? Number 53. What is the interest on 4,000 pesos at 20% for 3 months? A. 2,000, B. 240, C. 22,000, or D. 2,400. The answer is, what's the interest on 4,000 pesos at 20% for 3 months? The answer is letter A. This is one of the problems involving interest. In Gen Ed Mathematics, again, there are 3 types of interest problems that you might encounter in the future. First is the simple annual interest. Next is the compound interest. And the third one is the finding for the interest itself. This problem in 53 falls under the third type, finding for the interest itself. The formula for interest is equal to principal times rate times time. Principal is the money that you have invested, the principal amount of money invested, starting money. Rate is a percentage here, the rate of interest in percentage, but in this formula, rate should be in decimal. So you have to convert percentage into decimal. And time should be in years, not in any measure of time, any unit of time. For example, in this problem, we have in months. Still have to convert months into years. So in symbols, I is equal to PRT. So principal amount of money 4,000, rate is 20%, is 0.20. 3 months in years, that's 3 divided by 12, that's 0.25. So multiply the 3 numbers, so we'll get 200. Number 54. If x is negative 2 and y is 1/2, what is the sum of 2x plus 10xy? A. 12, B. negative 12, C. 14, or D. negative 14. Answer is letter D, negative 14. So all we have to do is just substitute all of the given numbers for x and for y. For x is negative 2, for y is 1/2. So 2 times negative 2, just follow PEMDAS. We cannot just add first, multiply first before addition. 2 2 times negative 2, that's negative 4. Sa kabila is 10 times negative 2 times 1 half. 10 times negative 2 is negative 20. And kalahati na negative 20 is negative 10. So we just going to add negative 4 and negative 10. That's negative 14. Number 54. Solve for the expression 3x squared enclosed by a parenthesis raised to 2 if x is equal to 2. Okay. So let's kanina para pa rin to kanina, let's just substitute the value for x. A 16, B 48, C 116, or D 144. The answer is letter D 144. First, PEMDAS. You should evaluate first what is inside the parentheses. So 4x is equal to 2. So that's 2 raised to 2 is 4. And multiply first before raising to 2. 4 times 3 is 12. And 12 raised to 2 is 144. 56. What is the GCF of 10, 6, and 2? A1, B2, C3, D5. What's the greatest common factor of 10, 6, and 2? The answer is yes, correct. Letter B, 2. So this is the number that can be used to divide the three numbers in the problem. The greatest number among the options here that can be used to divide to 10, to 6, and to 2. You cannot divide 3 to 2, of course, and 5 to 2. 1 can be used to divide the 3, but there's still a greater number than 1, that's 2. Number 57. What should be the dividend to obtain 8 when the divisor is 16? A, 0.5, B, 2, C, 4, or D, 128. So dividend is the number to be divided, and the divisor is the number that divides the number. So the answer is letter D, 128. Actually, division is just the opposite of multiplication. All you have to do is multiply 16 and 8 in order to get the dividend. So 8 times 16 is 128. Or if you do it algebraically, this is an algebra. X is the dividend, and 16 is the divisor, and the quotient is 8. So just cross multiply 16 times 8 is 128. 58. 6 subtracted from negative 4 is A, 10, negative 10, B, 10, C, negative 4, or D, 4. The answer is, what is 6 subtracted from negative 4? The answer is letter A, negative 10. Just be careful when you interpret English expressions into algebraic expression or mathematical expressions. Halimbawa, the phrase 6 subtracted from means 6 ang i-minus sa negative 4 and not si negative 4 ang i-minus sa 6. Because sa subtraction walang commutative. Kasi kung sa addition pwede magkabaliktad pero sa subtraction hindi. Negative 4 minus 6. Then apply the rules in subtraction of integers, di ba? Ano bang first rule kapag nagma-minus tayo ng different integers? First is we have to change the operation into addition, positive, and change the sign of the, di ba? This is the minuend and this is the subtrahend. So the minuend is negative 4, subtrahend is 6. Change the sign of the subtrahend into its opposite sign. Since this is positive 6, so we change it to its opposite, negative 6. So negative 4 plus negative 6, adding two negative numbers will result to a negative number, negative 10. 59. A car's value varies inversely with its age. May bought a 2-year-old car for 500,000. What will be the value of Elena's car when it's 5 years old? Okay. Letter A, 400,000. B, 300,000. C, 200,000. D, 100,000. Even if the two names here are different, maybe the situation is the same. Because even if it's a different person, but still a car's value varies inversely with its age. Inverse variation means if one increases, the other one decreases. So what's the answer to this question? The answer is letter C, 200,000. First, if we do it algebraically, there are two ways to answer this. First is applying the formula for inverse variation. The formula is y is equal to k. K is constant divided by x, constant of inverse variation. So in this problem, value is inversely proportional to age. You can put value here or age here is the same thing. Value is equal to k over age. Then let's say the value is 500,000 and the age is 2. So the constant of inverse variation is 1 million. So since we know the constant already, so we can apply it to a different scenario, but applying the same concept. Now, what if the age of the car is 5 years old? So 1 million is our K as na-solve na natin kanina. 1 million divided by 5, the value would be 200,000. So you can also use this way, just like ratio proportion. But ratio proportion depends on direct variation. It's another way of seeing ratio proportion in inverse variation. So since inverse, di ba, in an equation, kapag tapat o magkatabi yung dalawang variable, it means they're inversely proportional, inversely related. So value is equal to age is equal to value. Value times age is equal to value times age. This is yung previous natin and the new condition. No, previous dito sa left side, dito yung new. So previously, sabi natin, kung 2 years old, ang value is 500,000. What is the value kung 5 years old? So 500,000 dito, 2 years old. So that's 1 million. Dito, we don't know the value yet. So value times 5, or you can have any kind of variable here. Pwede x, pwede y, or the word value talaga. So in order to isolate value, para maiwan lang si value, we divide both sides by 5. So this side divided by 5 and this side divided by 5. So 1 million divided by 5 is 200,000. Value times 5 divided by 5 is just the value. So that's why the answer is 200,000. Well, either way, makukuha pa rin natin yung sagot. 60. What is the multiplicative inverse of 2 over 8? A, 4, B, negative 2/8, C, 1/4, or D, negative 8 over 2. Multiplicative inverse is just the reciprocal of a fraction or of a number. So 2/8 ang reciprocal natin is 8 over 2. Simplify, that's why the answer is 4. 8 over 2 is 8 divided by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay, number 61. What did Einstein propose that revolutionized classical physics and our understanding about the universe? A, time is absolute for all observers. B, the speed of light is constant for all observers. C, length of object is absolute for all observers. Or D, energy is not related to mass of an object. So what did Einstein propose? He proposed that, letter B, speed of light is constant for all observers. So this is his theory of special relativity. He said that the laws of nature are the same for all scenario here in the universe, and he also said that the speed of light is constant for all observers. What is the speed of light? 3 times 10 raised to 8 times raised times 3 times 10 raised to 8 meters per second. Time is absolute for all. No, this is wrong kasi sabi ni Einstein, time is relative for all observers. Length of object is absolute. Sabi ni Einstein, length of object is relative. At sabi pa ni Einstein, energy is related to mass. Kaya nga meron tayong energy and mass equivalent sa formula na E is equal to mc squared, 62. Among the types of radiation below, which has the least energy? A, UV, B, visible light, C, infrared, or D, microwave. The answer is, which has the least energy? It's microwave. You know, according to electromagnetic spectrum, the longer the wavelength, the longer the wave, the least the energy. So among the four, ang may longest wavelength ay microwave. And after microwave, ang pataas tayo ng energy, pataas ng increasing energy is from microwave, tapos infrared, and then visible light, the Roy G. Biv, at saka UV. Number 63. Which statement is true about heat? A. Heat is a form of matter. B. Heat is the fourth form of matter. C. Heat is a measure of how hot an object is. Or D. Heat flows from hot to cold objects. So what is true about heat? True about heat, the truth about heat is it flows from hot to cold object because heat is just the of flow of energy from hot to cold objects. Heat is not a form of matter, heat is not the fourth form of matter, and heat is not the measure of how hot an object is. That is temperature for letter C. So, but the truth is, heat flows from hot to cold objects. 64. An eclipse of the sun throws the shadow of the blank. A. Moon and the earth. B. Moon and the sun. C. Earth on the sun. Or D. Earth on the moon. So eclipse of the sun, that is solar eclipse. That means that the shadow of the moon falls on the earth. That's solar eclipse. As you can see in the diagram here above, this is an example of a solar eclipse. The diagram below shows an example of a lunar eclipse. In lunar eclipse, the shadow of the earth falls on the moon. Okay? Number 65. Which among the following represents the smallest unit of life? A. Embryo, B. Organelle, C. Cell, or D. Atom? Of course, the smallest unit of life is the cell. Cell, according to the cell theory, is the basic unit of life. Number 66. Which of the following statements about living things is false? A. All living things use energy to function. B. All living things are composed of cells. C. All living things have nervous system. Or D. Living things are capable of reproduction. So what is false? What's false is letter C. All living things have nervous system. Because we know that only vertebrates have nervous system. Example, the mammals, the fishes, reptiles, amphibians, but the rest do not have a nervous system or a highly organized nervous system. Although some of the lower animals, lower than vertebrates, for example, Danidarians tulad ng mga at saka mga mollusks katulad ng mga, let's say, squid, octopus, they have nervous system but they are animals. But what about those organisms that are not animals? Just like plants, just like bacteria, they don't have nervous system. What is true about life or living things? That they use energy to function. They are composed of cells, of course, and they're capable of reproduction, sexually or asexually. 67. Which of the following best describes a group of cells that work together to perform a function? A. Tissue, B. Organ system, C. Organ, or D. Organism. So group of cells are called or is called a tissue. Group of cells is tissue. Group of tissue is called organ. Group of organ is an organ system. All of the organ system and the tissues in the cells in the body is called the organism. 68. What is the main difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes? A. Eukaryote has a nucleus, but a prokaryote does not have. B. Prokaryote has a nucleus, but the eukaryote does not have. Letter C. The eukaryote is always larger than the prokaryote. Or letter D. The eukaryote is the only type of cell that is capable of photosynthesis. So the main difference is letter A. The eukaryote has nucleus, but the prokaryote does not have. The word eukaryote means through nucleus, whereas the word prokaryote means before the existence of nucleus. Prokaryotes are bacteria, and bacteria, they don't have a nucleus. Okay, letter B is obviously wrong. Letter C, Eukaryote is not always larger than prokaryote because there are bacteria having the same size or with the same size as a eukaryotic cell, especially protists. Protists have the similar, they are similar in size sa mga bacteria. Eukaryote is the only type cell that is capable of photosynthesis. No, prokaryote can also do photosynthesis, in particular, mga cyanobacteria. 69. Animals that feed on plants are A. Carnivores, B. Omnivores, C. Herbivores, or D. Producers. So animals that feed on plants are called, yes, letter C, herbivores. Herbivores, those that eat plants. Carnivores, those that eat other organisms. Omnivores, those that eat other organisms and plants. And D are plants producers. Number 70. Okay, 70. In the organizational level, the simplest unit in the living system and are made of molecules and atoms are the A. Organ level, B. Cellular level, C. Molecular level, or D. Tissue level. So we're looking for the simplest unit in the living system that's made of molecules and atoms. Of course, that is the cellular level. It's the simplest unit, it's a basic unit of life, and cells are made of molecules and atoms. Molecular level, on the other hand, is made of subatomic particles tulad ng proton, electrons, neutrons, and are also made of chemical bonds. Tissue level is made of cells. Organ level is made of tissue. Okay, number 71. What is the waste product of photosynthesis? Waste product of photosynthesis: A. Nitrogen, B. Carbon dioxide, C. Oxygen, or D. Carbohydrates. The waste product of photosynthesis is, yes, oxygen. Waste product since the plants don't need them or don't need it anymore. Plants require carbon dioxide and water. Plants produce sugar, and plants produce as waste product oxygen. Number 72. Was the father of modern taxonomy and responsible in coining the term for Homo sapiens? A. Aristotle, B. Copeland, C. Shatton, D. Linnaeus. So, who is the father of modern taxonomy? Answer is yes, correct. It is Linnaeus. Carolus Linnaeus or Carl von Linné is the father of modern taxonomy, and he's the one who coined the term Homo sapiens, scientific name for a human being. Aristotle, on the other hand, is the father of biology. Copeland is one of the scientists before who proposed kingdom systems. Shatton, he was the one who distinguished between eukaryotes and prokaryotes. 73. An example of a non-renewable energy is the A. Sun, B. Wind, C. Water, or D. Coal. Non-renewable energy is letter D. Coal. Non-renewable means it cannot be replaced easily. Hindi basta-bastang napapalitan. For example, petroleum, for example, gas, for example, coal. But sun, wind, and water are renewable sources of energy. 74. Which of the following is used to determine the age of rock? A. Mud flow, B. Rock, C. Fossils, or D. Volcanoes. Which can be used to determine the age of rock? We can use fossils to determine the age of rocks. Okay, by carbon dating, for examples, most of the fossils are dated using the isotope of carbon. Number 75. Human vocal cord is in the blank. A. Pharynx, B. Esophagus, C. Larynx, or D. Resonator. The vocal cord is found in, yes, correct, larynx. Pharynx is our throat. Larynx is a tube connecting the throat, the pharynx, and the trachea. Okay, and this is where vocal cords are found. And esophagus is a long tube connecting the pharynx and the stomach. Remember that esophagus is the passageway for food, whereas larynx is the passageway for air. Resonators are part of the body that give volume to the sound, just like nasal cavity and the rib cage. Number 76. Which of the chemical symbol which is the chemical symbol for potassium? AP, BK, C, Na, or DS? So the chemical symbol for potassium is, yes, letter PK. Potassium is K because the Latin name for potassium is kalium. That's why in the periodic table the symbol for potassium is K. P is phosphorus, Na is sodium. Just like potassium, Na is a symbol for the Latin name for sodium natrium, and S is sulfur. Number 77. What's the third planet from the Sun? A. Venus, B. Mars, C. Earth, or D. Mercury? The third planet from the Sun is? Yes, correct. It is our home planet, the Earth. Okay, no? From the Sun, the first planet is, of course, Mercury. And after that, Venus. And our home planet, the third rock from the Sun, is the Earth. And after Earth, we have Mars. And after Mars, largest planet in the solar system, Jupiter. And after Jupiter, we have Saturn. And after Saturn, we have the Uranus. And after Uranus, Neptune. And that's all about the planets in the solar system. Pluto, on the other hand, was demoted into dwarf planet. 78. Which kind of relationship exhibited by an orchid living attached to a tree? A. Mutualism, B. Parasitism, C. Commensalism, or D. Predation? Na orchid attached to a tree is? Answer is yes, commensalism. Commensalism is a relationship where one benefits and the other is neither help nor harm. So in this case, the orchid benefits because it has habitat now, but the tree is neither help nor harm in this relationship. Mutualism is a relationship where two benefit from the relationship, where the two organisms benefit. Parasitism is just like commensalism, but the other organism is hurt or harmed. Predation is an ecological interaction where one eats and the other is eaten. Eaten. The one that eats is called the predator, and the one that is eaten is called the prey. 79. Which theory is advanced by Alfred Wegener that explains the present day location of continents? A. Continental drift, B. Law of segregation, C. Diastrophism, or D. Uniformitarianism? So, what's the theory of Alfred Wegener? Answer is letter A. Continental drift. According to this theory, um, once upon a time, all of the continents are fused into one supercontinent called Pangaea. And then slowly but gradually, all the planets drifted. All of the continents they drifted. Some continents drifted far apart from each other. Some continents are still attached to other land masses. So the present day map shows the present location of the continents after the drift. But actually, the drift is still ongoing, according to Alfred Wegener. It never stops unless the planet dies. Letter B, law of segregation is the law na ginawa ni Mendel. It's all about the segregation of alleles during meiosis. Diastrophism is the widespread land formation, geologic process that forms volcanoes, mountains, valleys, and all of the other landforms that we see. Uniformitarianism states that it's a principle. It's according to James Hutton, it's a principle that means that all of the geologic processes that happened in the past are still happening today. So, it means that uniform or constant ang mga geologic processes. Halimbawa, if nagkaroon ng faulting before, still today, faulting is present. If nagkaroon ng folding before, may folding pa rin ngayon. If may mga earthquakes noon, until today, may earthquakes pa rin. Number 80. What produces the bile? A. Liver, B. Gallbladder, C. Stomach, or D. Small intestine. So what produces the liver? The bile? Of course, it's the liver. The liver produces the bile. The bile is that substance that emulsifies fats. When we eat fatty food, there are many enzymes in our body that can that's metabolize fat. But then we can easily metabolize fat without first emulsifying it because fat is hydrophobic. It doesn't stick to water. B. Gallbladder is temporary storage for bile. After the bile is produced in the liver, this is temporarily stored in the gallbladder. Stomach and small intestine. Number 81. Aling teoryang pampanitikan na pinaniniwalaan na ang tao ang sukatan ng lahat. Sukatan ng lahat ng bagay kaya't kailangan may pagkaloob sa kanyang kalayaan sa pagpapahayag, sa saloobin, sa pagpapasya. So, anong teorya yan? Klasismo, humanismo, romanticismo, or existentialismo? Ang sagot natin ay letter B, humanismo. Kapag ang emphasis ay nasa tao, kasi sabi natin dito, ang tao ang sukatan ng lahat ng bagay, that is humanismo. Klasismo naman is, ito'y pag-aaral ng ang panitikan ay binabase na rin sa mga pag-aaral ng mga nagawa ng mga panitikan at mga nasusulat ng mga libro at mga aklat before. Kapag sinabing classics, ito yung panahon kung saan umusbong ang kaisipan ng mga Griego at mga Romano. Romanticismo naman, ang binibigyang diin dito ay pag-ibig sa surroundings, sa environment, pag-ibig sa kapaligiran, sa tao, at sa iba pang nasa paligid ng tao. Existentialismo, ang binibigyang diin natin dito ay kalayaan ng tao. Binibigyan natin diin ang importansya ang desisyon ng tao o pagpapasya ng tao kasi malaya ang tao according to existentialism. 82. Saan nabibilang nobelang sa mga uri ng panitikan? Saan ba nabibilang ang nobela? A. Patula, B. Tuluyan, C. Haiku, or D. Drama? Ang nobela ay nabibilang sa tuluyan. Ang patula ay may mga rules. May mga rules na sinusunod katulad ng pagkakaroon ng mga stanza, lines, sometimes tugma o iba pang mga devices. Pero ang tuluyan ay prosa, tuloy-tuloy, walang mga rules na paano siya isulat. Hindi siya necessary na nagkakatugma ang mga linya kasi straight lang ang pagkasulat. Tulad ng mga nobela, maikling kwento. Ang halimbawa ng patula ay haiku. Ang drama ay tinatanghal sa, of course, isang tanghalan sa harap ng madla or audience. 83. Kapag sinasabing itaga mo sa bato ang aking pangako, siya ay A. Natutuwa sa kanyang pangako, B. Nakataga ng pangako sa bato, or C. Nagsasabi ng totoo, or D. Nangangakong pagtupad sa pangako. Pag sinabing itaga mo sa bato, ang ibig sabihin niyan ay nangangakong pagtupad sa pangako. Pagtaga sa bato means pagtupad sa pangako. Number 84. Sa pabulang si Pagong at si Matsing, anong magandang asal ay pinapakita ni Pagong? A. Mapagkumbaba, B. Mapagmataas, C. Matuling, o D. Mahina. Ang pabulang si Pagong at si Matsing ay may version si Jose Rizal dyan, di ba? And anong magandang asal ay pinakita ni Pagong? Tama, ang mapagkumbaba. Whereas si Matsing naman ay mapagmataas. Number 85. Alin sa mga sumusunod ang awiting bayan na inaawit para makatulog ang sanggol? A. Oyayi, B. Diona, C. Talindaw, o D. Kunliman. Ang awit para makatulog ang sanggol ay Letter A, Oyayi. Halimbawa, sa Ugoy ng Duyan. Diona naman ay awit na kinakanta tuwing may pagdiriwang, lalong-lalo na tuwing may kasal. Talindaw ay awit na inaawit sa pamamangka. Kundiman ay awit sa pag-aharana ng mga Tagalog. Number 86. Anong uri ng panlapi ang matatagpuan sa mga sumusunod na salita? Umibig, pinaasa, naghiwalay. A. Unlapi, B. Hulapi, C. Gitlapi, or D. Laguhan. So, anong uri ng panlapi ang makikita sa umibig, pinaasa, naghiwalay? Ang sagot ay yes, unlapi. Yung mga panlaping nilalagay sa unahan ng salita. Sa ibig, pina sa asa, nag sa hiwalay. Ang laguhan ay proseso ng paglalapi kung saan makikita natin tatlong uring panlapi na to na nasa options. 87. Pumila blank maayos ang mga mag-aaral. A. Dahil, B. Nang, C. Nang, and G. D. Upang. So, anong dapat na ilagay natin na salita? Ang sagot ay yes, letter B. Pumila ng maayos. Kasi ang salitang ng maayos ay isang pang-abay. Pumila ng maayos. Paano nila ginawa ang pagpila? Ng maayos. So, pumila ng. Hindi yung NG, kasi NG is parang kung sa English pa, off. Off. Hindi siya adverb. Okay? Number 88. Anong tawag sa wika na ginagamit ng pamilya sa loob ng tahanan? A. Pampanitikan, B. Ecolec, C. Balbal, or D. Jargon. Ang sagot dito ay, anong tawag sa wika na ginagamit ng pamilya sa loob ng tahanan? Ang sagot ay Ecolec, letter B. Eco is isang salitang Grego na may ibig sabihin na bahay. So, wikang ginagamit sa loob ng bahay. Yun na naman, isang pamilya, meron silang mga salita o mga expression na sila-sila nilang din ang nakakaalam. Pampanitikan, kapag nasa high na formal na level ng wika. Balbal ay hindi formal. Kasi ito yung mga salitang kanto, salitang tambay, o mga salita na ginagamit ng mga iilang mga tao lang, no? Na sila na din na nagkakaintindihan. Most of the time, ito yung mga pinaikli, pinahabang salita at pinagko-combine para makaproduce ng ibang meaning. Jargon ay katulad ng balbal, pero ang jargon is more on the technical. Ito yung ginagamit ng mga iilang tao lang din, pero iilang tao na may kabilang sa isang profession. Halimbawa, may tinatawag na mga medical jargon kasi ito yung mga terms or expressions na mga doktor lang at nasa medicine o medical field lang nakakaalam. Legal jargon, kung ang mga abogado at mga huwes lang nakakaalam. So, para silang katulad ng balbal. Okay, 89. Piliin ang angkop sa pagpapakahulugan. Bilang at sukat kung mausap ang dalaga. A. Mahirap unawain. B. Mahina ang boses. C. Madaldal. O D. Maingat. So, bilang at sukat, kung mangusap ang dalaga, ang ibig sabihin yan ay yes, maingat. Bilang at sukat. Kung konti lang ang mga lumalabas na salita galing sa bibig ng dalaga kasi maingat na maingat siya. Hindi mahina ang boses, kundi maingat siya. Maingat siya sa kanyang pagsasalita. Number 19. Ilang pantig ang bumubuo sa linyang o sinta, halikan mo ako? A. 6, B. 7, C. 8, o D. 9. So, ilang pantig yan lahat? Ang sagot ay yes. Letter D. 9. So, bibilangin lang natin ang pantig syllable. O, sinta, that's tatlo na. Halikan, another 3. Mo ako, another 3. So, tatlong 3 ay 9. Number 91. Mabilis maglakad ang bata. Alin ang payak na simuno? A. Mabilis. B. Maglakad. C. Bata. Or D. Ang. So, alin ang payak na simuno? Simuno ang subject o salitang pinag-uusapan or topic sa sentence, sa isang pangungusap. Pinag-uusapan natin dito ay ang bata, of course. Bata. Mabilis maglakad is ang ating panaguri. Then, ang ating simuno, ang bata. Then, simpleng o payak na simuno ang salitang bata. Number 92. Sino ang naglapat ng titik sa pambansang awit ng Pilipinas? A. Jose Palma, B. Julian Felipe, C. Emilio Aguinaldo, D. Camilo Osias. Sino ang nagsulat, in short, ng pambansang awit ng Pilipinas? Ang sagot ay letter A, Jose Palma. Siya ang nagsulat ng tula. Tula na naging pambansang awit natin. Ang naglagay ng tono o gumawa ng tono para sa ating pambansang awit, gumawa ng musika. Yung accompaniment for the lyrics ay si Julian Felipe. Si Camilo Osias, ang isa sa mga pinakaunang nag-translate ng pambansang awit natin into English kasi na occupy tayo ng mga Amerikano, di ba? So, nagkaroon din tayo ng English version ng Lupang Hinirang. Number 93. How should one start an email? A. Write the recipient's email address. B. Write the body of the message. C. Write today's date. Or D. Attach a file. The answer is yes, it should be. You have to write the recipient's email address first. Recipient's is the receiver address, and you can write it in the address bar. And after that, you can write the body of the message. You don't need to write the date today because it's automatically generated for us. And you can attach a file afterwards if you are done. Number 94. The physical and tangible parts of the computer are the blank components. A. Software, B. Antivirus, C. Hardware, D. Program application. So what are the physical and tangible parts known as? They are called as, yes, hardware. Example, printer, keyboard, mouse, the screen, and all of the applications are called software. Example, your antivirus program or any kind of program application in your computer. 95, which is a system of software. A. Operating system, B. Microsoft Word, C. Music application, D. Spreadsheet. So system software among the four is, yes, it's the operating system. For example, you have Windows, you have Macintosh, you have in cell phones, operating system might be Android or Apple operating system. Number 96. Which is a percussion instrument? A. Tambourine, B. Saxophone, B. Trombone, or D. Guitar. So what's percussion here? Percussion, yung mga instruments na hinahampas para makalikha ng tunog. So ang answer ay, of course, yung tambourine. Saxophone and trombones are ito yung mga hinihipan ng mga musical instruments. So guitar naman ay kinakalabit yung strings, yung mga chordophones kung tinatawag pa. Okay, number 97. What should be done during an earthquake? A. Go to the nearest police station. B. Post the incident on the social media. C. Run to the nearest elevator. Or D. Duck, cover, and hold. So what should be done during an earthquake? Yes, answer should be, of course, letter D. You have to duck. Meaning yung duck is, you have to, if you're seated, stay seated. You have to go you have to find a place, usually underneath the table, or find a place na may strong na protection sa mga falling debris. So katulad ng nasa baba sa table, you have to duck under the table or any kind of structure that would protect your head. And you have to cover your head using any material that you are holding. For example, libro, ano pa ba dyan, yung kamay mo, kung wala ka talagang makuha mga bagay that can protect your head, you can use your hands. That's the least that you could do. And hold for a while. Do not run, do not walk during an earthquake. Because most of the time, yung mga na-aksidente during earthquake is yung mga tumatakbo. Kasi hindi nila nakikita ang mga out of panic, hindi nila napapansin ang kanilang paligid na meron na palang nagsisihulugang mga bato or mga bakal sa kanyang ulo, tapos may mga cracks naman sa floor, and then pwede silang madisgrasya. So that's it. Do not post the incident on the social media right away. Think of your safety first before doing the posting or going to the nearest help station tulad ng police station, fire station, or any kind of help station. And do not use the elevator during an earthquake or after an earthquake. Number 98. What should be done to avoid viral infections? A. Wash hands once daily. B. Avoid staying in a crowd. C. See the doctor every year. Or D. Take antibiotics when feeling ill. What should it be done to avoid viral infection? The answer is, of course, you have to avoid staying in a crowd. That's why during the pandemic, we are advised to um, social, to have that tinatawag na physical distance or social distance, at least 2 meters, di ba? And then, iniklian ng 1 meter, pero actually, dapat 2 meters yan. Washing hands once daily. It shouldn't be like this. You have to wash hands every time you hold something which you are not sure na malinis. Of course, especially when you eat, you have to wash your hands. When you, let's say, hold let's say, the doorknob, you have to wash your hands. You have to wash your hands when you grab something na hindi ka sure na malinis. And you have to see the doctor not only every year, and kung kaya ni mo gawin yan twice or thrice a year for general checkup. Of course, but it cannot avoid viral infection ha. This is just a health na recommendation lang to see if your body is healthy or mga system sa katawan kay performing well. You don't need to take antibiotics when feeling ill because antibiotics are only prescribed by physicians. Number 99, which should not be taken strictly without physician's prescription. A. Antibiotics. B. Analgesic. C. Vitamins. Or D. Sports drink. Anong hindi pwede inumin or kainin kapag walang reseta ng doktor? Sagot ay, yes, antibiotics. Antibiotics, kailangan ng reseta ng doktor kasi ang antibiotics ngayon ang isa sa dahilan kung bakit may maraming mga mutant na bacteria. People kasi, they tend to stop taking antibiotics when they feel healthy. Halimbawa, if supposedly you have to take the antibiotics for 7 days, but on the 3rd day, you feel well, healthy, so in-stop mo na. Yan ang dili pwede buhaton. Kailangan ituloy-tuloy kasi what if hindi pa namatay lahat yung bacteria sa katawan mo, tapos tinigil mo ng 3rd day, tapos binalik mo ng 5th day, chances are magkakaroon ng mutation yan. That's why ang mga antibiotics ngayon ay prescribed na ng doctor. You cannot buy over the counter. Analgesic, yung mga pain reliever katulad ng Biogesic, Alaxan, you can take them without physician's prescription naman kasi over the counter lang sila. Katulad ng vitamins and sports drink. 100. Which combination of keys should be pressed when you want to print a document? A. Control X, B. Control V, C. Control P, or D. Control and C. So what's that combination of keys when you want to print? You have to press Control and press P. Control X for letter A is cut, Control V is pasting, and Control C is copying. Okay? Okay, that's all for today, and I hope marami kayong natutunan. And remember that we sa Review Center, sa Jude Thaddeus Review Center, we are always ready to help you sa mga board exam needs ninyo, pagre-review, pagsa-study, and always available ang aming help. Tsaka dito kami sa Kidapawan. If you want to contact us, then may mga pages naman kami sa Facebook, and saka you can visit the whole review center here in Kidapawan City. And I pray na lahat tayo papasa sa mga exams ninyo, at saka see you when makikita tayo dito kung gusto nyo magpa-enroll sa amin or gusto nyo magpatulong sa amin. We're always free. We're always ready to help you. Okay? Salamat at maraming salamat at magandang araw sa lahat.